What's up guys, welcome to another video, and give me another review. Two more units, one of them is Sunfest, one of them is not, so keep that in mind. I have some potentially controversial views concerning these units, keep that in mind. As always guys, I want to preface this. I am never going to hype up a unit for you. I am never going to lie to you and pretend that something is amazing when it's not. So just keep that in mind when you're watching this. Of course, I'm not always just going to be a completely negative person, but at the same time, I'm always down the middle. I'm never going to hype stuff up. So if you want that from someone, if you want someone to hype up units, you're not going to find that here. So you should probably go to one of those other channels to hype up units, and don't look at the facts or anything like that. So with that being in mind, let's go ahead and show off the units and what I think of them. First of all, Eiko, he is the one that's not Summon Fest, so keep that in mind for what we're going to be talking about. Rest Timar is one-handed, so it's pretty decent. It's far better than the summer units that have the same thing, because it only does one. Obviously this will do 3 because it's an S Timar. So basically the only relevant thing is that it gives 3 Espergage per turn, and also 164 Spirit, which is pretty good. So, positives, we'll go over the positives first. He has triple cast after you beat the Necron, the FFBE. He has fire, light, and wind element chaining, and she also has 120% in perils. I guess 130% is still not really a thing yet. On most units, I guess it was kind of, maybe they would thought it was a mistake. Because Van still has 130%, but no one really has had it since. And they might just think that it's a mistake right now, so they might not be doing it for everything from now. That it is what it is on that situation. So she does have very high mods, but you guys know that this is an Esper unit, so there has to be some flaws, and they're pretty big. She does have a strong limit burst. Apparently, at least that's what I'm assuming, since she doesn't actually have any limit burst damage, is that it doesn't count for evoke damage. So she has a lot of evo magic in her kit, so that probably contributes to her limit burst, which is really strong. Light damage, as it's light element, and it has a huge modifier on it. But with all things that are evoke damage, they have high mods, and you want to know why? Because there are certain things in place that make them not as strong, even if they do have gigantic modifiers to them. And she does have, passives that give more modifiers on top of that. But on top of all those positives about this being strong and modifier strong and all that, there's some flaws. And you could say, oh, every unit has a flaw, but this one is detrimental to the hero. The unit itself more than most other units. Whereas, like, take Kuja for example. Yes, he's really strong, but he has low HP. At the same time, you can build him up to be a lot of HP. You can still have killers. MP cost is not really an issue with a healer. Whereas this one is not really fixable by any certain thing, because she can only have 10 Espergage. Esper ability chaining does not work with killers, of course, and that is a gigantic loss in damage compared to other units that do have killers. A unit with 300% killers that is at the top of the charts will probably still do more damage overall. And on top of that, you need to gear Eiko with a lot of STMRs and things to even compete. So, despite her damage being really high, if you can build her right, it's just, is it worth it? Because it's hard to build her, with a dupe. She's gonna have the same problem as CG Sarah. For you guys don't know, CG Sarah has a move that requires to be used because it gives her lots of modifier boosts, but it costs so much Esper gauge that you can't use it with a dupe. Both Sarahs will not be able to use that move, so it lowers her damage by quite a lot. I'm sure Global will fix this so that people will bull for her, but for now, Eiko is going to have the same situation where dupe chaining will be very difficult, because you'll have to pick and choose which ones you want to use. you never want to pick and choose what to use for dupe chaining, because again, the Kuja situation. Kuja doesn't have to pick and choose what he uses for his chaining moves. He does, you know, they both do the same thing every single turn with no restrictions, other than maybe if they don't have their limp burst filled, but that's easily fixable because they both have their own limit burst gauge. They don't have to rely on the Esper gauge like Eiko. So sorry about all the sniffling again. Anyways, she also has no Spirit True Duel, which is very funny because there's the other unit on the spanner the unit on the spanner actually does have Spirit True Duel wield. So I don't know why that is. Should be kind of swapped around, but yeah, no Spirit True Duel, and there's only one source for Spirit True Duel, and it's an STMR. At least it's UOCable. If you have 40 UOCs, you could get a Spirit True Duel wield. It's only 50%. They better get cracking on those UOCs, huh? Wink, wink. Not really. Maybe there'll be more Spirit True Duel in the future. And also, he is meh as a healer at best. So if you bring only her, she's really not that good as a healer. She's lacking a whole lot of things that normal healers have. So, Dark Visions, I mean, yeah, she'll be pretty good. She has 3 elements you can use, and killers won't be, you know, I mean, killers really won't be that important in Dark Visions. They never really were. It's just nice to have a few of them on some of your units, but it wasn't really a thing needed. And since you can have 3 elements and Imperial for 3 elements, I think that's really nice. And she can triple cast innately, so she gets an A in Dark Visions. For normal, there's so many flaws that I just can't overlook. Sure, she has high mods, like I said, but not working with killers means that her damage is just not going to be nearly as high, and dupe chaining is virtually almost impossible if you want. It's possible with dupe chaining, of course, but to have you guys are understanding, it's hard to explain. It's like if you want to have the highest damage numbers, you can't bring it. Like, it's just not going to be viable with a dupe. The only thing that would have fixed it is if Alan made a passive where she didn't, or like the Esper gauge costs were cut in half. Then that should be amazing if that passive was the thing. I talked about this before in a previous video a long time ago, where Esper units should have a passive for, you know, Esper gauge reduction so that they can work better. I thought they were going to do this here, but they did not. Or just have for her only have something that we're able to break past the limit burst gauge, or Esper gauge, sorry, so that she could use more than 10. So then dupe chaining would be a possibility, and then I would not be saying all these bad things about her because she would be able to dupe chain perfectly, and killers would not be nearly as prevalent. But since that didn't happen, we have to talk about these flaws where they still don't want to fix the Esper gauge, and they don't want to fix the part where they don't work with killers. And sure, they can give gigantic mods, but if she can't dupe chain with super good mods, then what's the point, right? So, and she also has some weird troll passive where she's only 70% resistant to all status resist. So you need another 30% on top of the 70 to make her 100%. Might as well just use a full, you know, status resistance at that point, like discernment or something. Why even bother with the 30 or the 70%? That's just trollish. So that in mind, yeah. Nick, come here. No, we didn't talk about Dagger yet. So, yeah, Dagger, 9 attack, 166 magic, 132 spirit, 12% of refresh. Decent, but not that great. It's just average. None of her healing requires Esper gauge, which is very nice. 10k HP barrier and limit burst, but she also has that Pwn thing where she can do 15% light and lightning damage element buff, which is a new thing on the JV side recently. So if you're doing light or lightning damage, it'll be buffed by 15%. She has many ways of filling her Esper Gauge. Pretty much almost all of her abilities will fill the Esper Gauge. And she also has triple cast White Magic. But that's where the benefits are going to start falling. Sure, she has, you know, stuff that you would expect out of a healer, like 100% break resistance, 100% status immunity, charm and stop resist. But unfortunately, only her charm and stop cure is on a cooldown, so it's a bit of a bad situation. Whereas most units have cure stop as an active move already that you just can use whenever you want. This one is not in that case. So just like Eiko, Dagger is in a situation where her Evo magic is really not that good, especially since she can't triple cast. She has no triple cast for her abilities, only dual cast. I said that down below at the last one down there. And once again, killers do not work on evoked moves, so they will not be nearly as strong. And I mean, it is what it is. She can at least she can like support chain, like with her DPS or something, maybe at least that would be decent. She has no AoE re-raise, and despite what some people might say, oh, just don't die, lol. Well, sometimes those kind of things happen where you go too far and you get wiped. And then what? You brought her along, no AoE re-raise, just like Folka. But unlike her, Folka actually had, things to bring that was worth it to bring it. Even though she didn't have AoE re-raise, she had other situations where it was a trade-off, really. So for this, you're not really seeing the trade-offs, really. Sure, she has a lot of things where she can triple cast White Magic and things of that nature, but it's just like, ugh. And also, she only has single target MP recovery, which is just, I'm not gonna say too bad about that, but I mean, a lot of other healers were able to do AoE MP restore, so I'm judging this based off of 2 healers, technically maybe 3. Lena, Serena on the JP side, and Kalmia, and all 3 of those can provide certain things that this unit cannot do, and she's a Summon Fest unit. Serena has AoE re-raise on multiple things in her kit. She has ways of preventing literally everything. She has ways of curing literally everything. She has elemental resistance, whereas Dagger does have elemental resistance, so she has that good thing going for her. She has 10k HP barrier, but again, no AoE re-raise. She has triple cast White Magic, so you could, single cast re-raise, but at the same time, I'm not really feeling it. I'm not really feeling the guys. There's no emergencies, whereas Serena has that gigantic emergency of just literally raising and re-raising everybody and curing everything and stuff like that. She doesn't have that kind of situation here, and she's a little selfish because her only her cooldown gives re-raise to herself. Like, what? What about the rest of her team? So I don't know, I'm just not feeling it. There's a lot of hype on my Discord, and I'm just like, I gotta cool down the hype a little bit. Like, there's not so many good things. There's a lot of good things about her. If you don't have any healer, of course she's gonna be good for you. If you're just starting out and you have nothing, then Dagger is probably the one to get, definitely the one to get. But if you have, all those 3 healers that I mentioned, you don't need to upgrade to this. This is not really an upgrade. I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing it at all, guys. Of course, this is always my opinion, but I'm always down in the middle. I talked about her positives, I talked about her negatives. Overall, I think it's hard to grade her because she's a healer, not a DPS, but comparing her to Lena, who's an age-old unit at this point, she's like an old grandma in terms of, unit rotations and things, and Serena on the JP side, and Kalmia, the newest healer. I just don't think that she is up there with those 3. But I feel like she's just like a B+ healer at best. Sure, she's gonna be really strong for you. If you, like I said, if you have nobody, if you're just starting out, you have no healers, then yeah, go for her, definitely, 100%. But if you have any of 3 of those healers that I mentioned, Kalmia, Serena, JP side version, I'm trying to mention that because global version is really nerfed right now, so. And also, even Lena. people are saying, oh, I have Lena, I'm just gonna pass. So yeah, I just feel like if you have either one of those, I think you can just pass. If you really like Final Fantasy 9, I like Final Fantasy 9, but I think I'm just gonna skip. I think I'm just gonna wait for the next King Mug. So, whoops, music's over. Anyways, so I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like it's just not something you really need to go for. Especially with, like I said, King Mug roaming around the corner, and there could be another CG antagonist like Sephiroth or something like. I'm not saying that's going to be true. Don't. Oh my God, Sephiroth is coming. He said it. No, I said it. Something like that could happen, and then we'd be like, oh, we all pulled for Dagger and Eiko, and now Sephiroth is here, or whoever else that is hyped up and good and stuff like that. So I feel like I'm just gonna keep my Lapis and do that, because I don't need another healer. I've got Serena, I've got Lena, and I also have Calmia. So why would I need to upgrade to another healer? I'm good. But you guys can do what you want with your Lapis. I'm just here behind the computer screen talking about units. This might be controversial. Some people might not like my review this time, and that's fine. Thumbs down if you want. But I'm just trying to tell you the facts. And the facts are, she's just, in certain aspects, maybe there'll be a fight where you don't need AB re-raise. There are certain fights that you don't really need it, because all of your units are not going to get hit. Only some units are going to get hit. So if you go to those kind of fights, in those kind of situations, then yeah, she's going to be amazing. But then there are certain fights where you potentially could get wiped completely with uncoverable magic and attack, and then how is she going to recover? She can only bring back 3 units. Yikes. So yeah, with that being said, I think we're done here. I'm done. I don't want to be too harsh. I talked about it. I talked about the positive, I talked about the negatives. That's my review. So B+, I'm not going to rate her for Dark Visions, because you really wouldn't want to bring her. She only has dual cast for her offensive abilities, and that's just not that good enough. So with that being said, guys, she does have elemental chaining, by the way. She has a water, and I think, and thunder. So yeah, I think light as well, I think. So there's that. But other than that, oh my God, whatever. Thanks for watching, guys. If you watched all the way through, type in #Dagger in the comments, and let me tell me if I'm wrong, completely wrong, I'm missing something. But I think I'm on the money with this one. I'm not gonna hype up something, and now you guys can understand why I'm not in the hype mindset. That's just not me. I've said that many times. I'm never gonna be that kind of person for you guys. I will always tell the truth. I will always be down in the middle. I will always have integrity about that situation. And I could be wrong. I've been wrong about certain things before. I've been proven wrong, but I think that most people know about evoked magic at this point, where you can't use killers, and that's just not so good. So before this review becomes 20 minutes, jeez, I think we're gonna go, guys. So thanks for watching, guys. Remember, #Dagger in the comment section, and tell me what you guys think about the unit yourself. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.